Good morning. Well, it's a little wet out there this morning to do our chat, but all is well. Got Nico out, and he's home drying off. Well, he was toweled off. Excuse me, but he's resting now, and he doesn't like going on the rain. He did not want to go, but he went out, he did what he had to do, and we got him back in quickly. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to get him to get some more exercise. We'll check in a moment. So sit back and relax, and we'll continue on in our chat in just a moment. Well, the first story that's coming to us is one out of the Peace Arch border crossing, where a guy told, I think it was the Canadian side, saying he had explosives in his car, which closed down the border crossing in both ways. The guy didn't have anything, so it was a guy trying to make headlines for himself. It seems like a waste of time. Why would anyone really want to do this? But except to make a big name for himself, get his name in the news, and with everything going on in the world and the terrorism and everything, having people say they have explosives trying to cross the border isn't really that much fun. And putting people's lives, they may have people to see down in Washington or trying to get back up into Canada, trying to make work or whatever reason. But this person didn't have any right to do that. But he made sure that, he had a reason, and everything is okay because he had a reason. And, I think we've got to take a look at maybe our mental health isn't doing it. And if people need mental health, are they able to get it? Because this person obviously wasn't thinking right, and has his or his family realized something was wrong, or did he just snap? Or did he think it was a big joke? Oh, funny. But we have to take a look at these things and say, well, what's really going on? And people who do this and think it's a big joke, or want some attention, or couldn't get the help that they needed. And we need to take a look at this, and we need to ensure that people get the help that they strongly need. But now what's going to happen? He's going to have a criminal record. He's probably never going to be able to go across the border again. And, that might not be such a big thing that he's looking at now. But if he's doing it as a joke, which I'm doubting, but if he's doing it as a joke, people aren't thinking it's that funny. It closed down the border. People were rerouted to Pacific Truck Crossing, and everyone just has to keep laughing. Oh yeah. And and the border is exactly the same as any airport crossing or any airports, where you don't mention the word bomb or explosives, because you're liable to get closed down, and it's just stupid. So if you feel the need to do something against someone or a group of people, get out, get the help you need, keep asking until you get it. Anyway, we'll be back with some more in just a minute. Okay, so this morning there was also a report, it could have been on last night's news hour, but there was a report of a lady who went to the women's hospital in Vancouver to have her child, and she was told that she was positively screened for HIV. Well, with HIV being so prevalent in the lower mainland and such, it is definitely a heartfelt issue. Now, her and her daughter were given HIV drugs, and also was another daughter who was given HIV drugs, or drugs to stop the virus from antiviral. But, I think we have to, there's so much rush to get things through those labs that it's quite often able to make a mistake, or a person who doesn't really know how to do the test. I know while I was spent many months in Royal Columbian that some of the tests that were sent out weren't being sent out, and while I'm not saying I didn't receive good care while I was in Royal Columbian, but still getting care of people, and people's lives. Here this lady had to go through thinking that, oh my goodness, I've infected my child with the HIV virus. And there's got to be a way of checking things even closer. Was the same tech doing the tests, or were we needing to take a look at how we do tests? But going out and telling people, and this lady had helped another lady by breastfeeding her son or daughter or the child, but this just doesn't seem right. Like, why do all these tests, and why do they have to rush the antiviral component? Is it so vital that they get it right away, or are they just pushing things so that they can feel, oh, we've done something? Is the HIV going to kill the child in 3 days while they go through and do a retest? To me, hospitals have a little bit more responsibility pushing these diagnoses through. And can we wait and say, well, okay, we're going to retest. You positive, but don't take it for verbatim yet. We'll come back and we'll tell you when these tests are positive. I could be totally off in left field on this one, but I don't think that they really took their time in doing the proper thing. But so far, this already happened. There's 3 lives that were changed, and anti-inflammatory drugs or whatever were given. Not an anti-inflammatory, antiviral and drugs given. And a lot of these places are saying, oh well, mistakes happen, but I think we need to take a look on how we do these medications and such, that they're not going to happen. And this is where we've run into problems. So we'll see what's going to come out of this story. I can see BC Women's probably going to have a issues, financial, being, charged with such. But, we expect that when they say so much is coming out of these topics, or, that things are actually happening, that you are infected with the virus. And I'm sorry, enough is enough. Okay, our last topic today is Philadelphia. There was another police shooting there. And enough is enough. I really do get the Black Lives Matter, but just going out and killing them and retribution, is that really achieving anything? Is that not just putting killing more black lives? Putting more Black Lives members at risk? We need to ensure that all people are taken care of. And if there is police officers that are acting up and not following the rules, and just being problematic, and they're dealing with all people, they should be brought up in front of a jury and tried. But they shouldn't be any special treatment just because they're white or black or whatever. Yes, I agree that black people have got a raw deal over the years, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, they should be given free rein now. I think that is a very problematic action. Police are put there so that they can administer the laws. Now, in the past, the people of the black race have felt that they are being persecuted more. That there was stories that we heard growing up that because a person was black, they were pulled over more often. They were arrested more often, and the statistics don't lie. A black person is more likely to be arrested. Now, that is idiotic. Why should they, just because they're of a lower class, and they were once a slave? Well, they're no longer slaves now. They're people who are members of our society, and they should be treated with the respect that everyone deserves. They shouldn't be just, they're black, no, they're subservient. They're not subservient, and topics have to change, and we have to change these every day. It's not sort of like, one day, yes, I'm all against Afro-Americans, and the next day, I'm all for them, and you know how difficult things are, and so on. Well, who cares if you're black, white, Asian? You all should live under the same laws. And if you don't like the way things are being done, well, get after your member of parliament, get after your congressman. But, just going and shooting police officers. Now, we don't know if it was a white or if they sympathize blacks, but I'm just bringing out that, blacks have had a raw deal over their lives. And, I agree that Black Lives Matter, but in the same, I believe that all lives matter. And we should be taking things and making sure that we all understand, and that no one life or one group should be held esteem over the rest. And just because you're a white officer, you should be holding up the same rules for everyone. Now, some officers are great out there with black, with white, whichever. But then there are some that have some real problems out there. And, I'm not saying that we are not like that in Canada. Well, I believe we probably are a bit like that in Canada. But you know what? We have to build and get to be a better with dealing with races up here. I used to work with a food store chain up here and in Burnaby. And while my time here, a person would come in and say, "Oh, I needed help." So you get the person who is able to help them, and they would come in and they would say, "Oh, well, but I don't want any people of that persuasion or that persuasion." I'm not going to mention because I don't want to get any sort of people in trouble. But yet, they're the ones that, I'm sorry, that's the only one that we have available. And then they would blow up that we didn't get the one they wanted. And you know what? A person is a person, straight and simple. And we shouldn't be choosing, "Oh, well, this person's better than this person because of the color of their skin." They're not. Get over that. That thinking has gone out of the window years ago. So why are we keep doing that? Why do we keep believing these things all the time? "Oh, well, that person is better than that person because of the color of their skin." So, I think a lot of times I have to wonder a lot of times about people who are not people, but, the agencies that regulate like medical and nursing and all that all seem to say, "Oh, well, it's not, their systems aren't as good as ours. So, they have to go through and learn our ways." And, well, I don't know if they are. There's a movement among the Philippine nurses that, they don't have to go through, because they have a pretty rigorous medical system. I have one of them who was a nurse and has gone through the training now. But are we picking up because of the race, or are we picking up that there is that much of a change to make them go through courses again? And I'm beginning to wonder if that's really so much of a change, or if it's just, people saying, "Oh, well, they're not, their system isn't as good as ours, so they need to go through training again." Is it true, or are we just pretending? Just something to think about today. Well, that'll be the end of today's talk. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Hopefully we'll be back outdoors again. It seems to be quite cloudy and rainy and wet. So, hope you had a good day, and we'll discuss things later. Bye now.